Yes, round 12 of the Isuzu UTE A-League, and a top four clash between two New South Wales sides who always seem to produce goals when they play each other. Earlier on this season, the Bulls won that thriller in stoppage time. In total, the last three meetings have produced 17 goals, 3 penalties, 1 red card, an own goal, and some goal of the season contenders to boot. And of course, it's Friday the 13th as well, just to add to the prospect of craziness. The team news, 2 changes for the Bulls. Kieran Backus returns in midfield in place of Charles Mmombwa, and will link up with Jake Holman to provide some real grit in the centre of the park. Elsewhere, Jed Drew is in for just his 3rd start in place of Craig Noon, who drops down to the bench. And that Macarthur 11 features 3 former Mariners in Matt Miller, Tomislav Uskok and Jonathan Aspro, but a 4th, Danny De Silva, still isn't quite ready to return and remains on the sidelines alongside longer-term absentees Lockie Rose and Alexander Sushnia. There is Jed Drew, who made his first A-League start against the Mariners in that corresponding fixture back in November and scored the injury time winner, his first and so far only goal in the competition. As for the Mariners, just the one change. Storm Roux returns after missing the game against Adelaide with a stomach bug. Thomas Aquilina returns to the bench. Roux extended his deal with the club by another year this week, and it's his 30th birthday today. Jason Cummings has 4 goals in his last 6 matches, and he's partnered again by Marco Tullio, with Paul Ayongo having to bide his time on the bench after recovering from that hamstring problem. And not just Storm Roux signed a new contract this week, but Brian Kaltak as well. Just reward for some excellent form in the competition. And he, you might remember, was sent off in that 3-2 defeat by Macarthur in Gosford earlier this season. Dwight York said this week his squad was down to the bare bones with injuries. He might look to bolster his squad in the January window. Later on this year, of course, the Bulls will play in Asia for the first time as they take part in the AFC Cup, their prize for winning the Australia Cup. That's the man that Macarthur have got to get past if they're going to score tonight. Danny Vukovic, veteran in this competition, of course. And off we go for the weekend's action. And this, on paper at least, Andy Harper, could be the match of the round.
I agree, Simon. Before pretty much a ball's been kicked, apart from the kick-off, I think this one's got plenty to offer. The Mariners just doing a fantastic job. And Macarthur, in the early stages of their existence, have done well. They're the owners, if I can put it that way, of the cup at the moment. And the Mariners, the team leading the most serious charge, the league leaders, Melbourne City. But this one, with 2 great attacking outfits, should be one to watch.
But with Holman snapping away at his heels, but he's found Cummings on a mistake by Uskok, and Marco Tullio is away and opens the scoring in the 4th minute for the Mariners. Disaster for the Bulls, and for Tomislav Uskok in particular. He completely missed his kick, and the Mariners have pounced.
Well, a quite incredible start, and I was just thinking how well the Central Coast Mariners had adjusted their midfield to go man-on-man, and therefore that intercept for Tommy Uskok would have been so routine. But on the Harvey Norman replay, we see he's been so reliable, Tommy Uskok, this season. That's quite inexplicable. That from Marco Tullio is not. He's a super player, and the Mariners can really enjoy this guy if he gets a swag load of confidence, and goals like that aren't going to hurt.
Torre's up and about a bit, again I should say, and here's Davila, top of the box, trying to bend it, and he's done so! I thought it had dropped in there for a second, goodness me! Wow. Just grazed the top of the net and came back off the stanchion. And as they ran away, I thought that had dropped into the top corner, but it's not.
Well, don't take this the wrong way, Simon, but I think you've had your very own Les Murray moment
Yeah,
there.
I've had my Friday the 13th.
That's it. Sammy Silvera talking about a threat.
That was a terrific turn out of trouble from Silvera. Tullio. And arriving is Nkololo, and it's tipped over the bar by Curto. A razor-sharp attack from the Mariners, all driven by Sammy Silvera.
Well, really 1.5 counter-attacking opportunities. The goal came from counter-attack that was helped by some poor defending. This was just a really good counter. And Nkololo arriving late, forcing a really good tip-over from Philip Curto. Tullio looking sharp. Silvera through midfield was lightning.
Heavy touch by Steele allows Bacchus to win the ball back for the home side. As then does Jacob Farrell for the visitors. And slides it through again. It's just a fraction too heavy.
Yeah, too much tone, not enough of the outside of the foot from Farrell. Great tackle to win the ball. That's a great tackle as well from Triantis. It was a challenge that needed to be made.
Both teams showing that they're in decent form. Bulls have won 4 of the last 6. Mariners 4 of the last 5. This is Davila attacking Kaltak. And the deflection might have favoured Arabuli. It was a strong right arm from Danny Vukovic that prevented it from getting through to him. And it needed that intervention.
Well, it was offside. Thankfully, the referee hasn't, just for the sake of it, stopped the game and given the free kick. He was sensitive to the opportunity for the Mariners to play their way out. And we didn't have a stoppage as a result. And much better keeping the flow of this terrific game going.
Silvera and Cummings. And again, Jason Cummings, it's 2! With his less favoured right foot this time. 5 goals in his last 7 matches now. And his first on the road this season. And the Mariners are 2 clear.
Well, I don't know on the Harvey Norman replay if, in hindsight, we can give Ali Reza Fagani an assist stat for keeping the game going. But Silvera, again, teasing defenders. And he jinks inside Matt Miller, who didn't really make much of an impression. It's another accidental bump off the shins of Tommy Uscock. This is probably less vigorous defending than was required from Macarthur, in fairness. That's pretty fortuitous in defence of Uscock. And at the second time of asking on the Harvey Norman replay, Jason Cummings doesn't need any more opportunities. It's another goal for the Scott Oz. And the Mariners 2 up.
They look dangerous every time they come forward, the Central Coast. As do the Bulls, in fairness. It's a really good game. Steele to float it. And Farrell off balance. Ball went the wrong way. In fact, he's going to retrieve his own touch there and drill it across looking for Cummings. Aspro Potomitis sees it out.
Well, playing well, yes, the Macarthur and losing 2-0, but that was deplorable defending on Jacob Farrell, who's a fine player doing well, but there's no way he should have escaped the clutches of Drew and Matt Miller as that ball came back down from the heavens. That's where the Mariners aren't making mistakes.
Here's Jason Cummings, and it needed that tip over from Philip Curto. The looped ball into the box, and Cummings was onto it in a flash.
Macarthur are actually now at risk of collapsing. Tullio with a great chance. Farrell dangerously into the box. And now Jason Cummings looking to complete his brace.
Again, look how sloppy the Bulls are to pick up that second phase possession. Silvera! Goodness me, that was moving.
At the moment, the Bulls are in the queue for the slaughterhouse. They're just running rampant the Central Coast. They've got a great collection of players. The chemistry is outstanding. And they're at the top of the confidence wave. And if they get into the sheds just 2 down at this point, the way things are going, Macarthur, they'll have to call that a little victory.
Well, this team talk's going to be rather straightforward. His opposite number. Maybe he'll bring out the old Fergie hairdryer.
There's no such thing as an easy pass for a Macarthur player, easy control for a Macarthur player. Look at Tullio now. They make a mistake, they work incredibly hard to fix it. And when they're going forward, they've got players in great touch and great instincts. I mean, it's the perfect combination at the moment for Central Coast. And ain't it good to watch?
You can see the fire burning in Sammy Silvera. Of course, Garang Kuol was probably ahead of him in the pecking order before departing for his big move to the UK. Oh, Vukovic, an error, and Holman, all he had to do was lift it over the top of Danny Vukovic. And the Mariners custodian would have presented Macarthur with a gift for the second time this season.
Oh, what a uber waste this is. Danny Vukovic very heavy on the touch. Didn't even have to go first time, really, Jake Holman. Mariners are doing it relatively easy by comparison.
Well, the Bulls know they dare not concede a third. Otherwise, the mountain is going to become Everest. Bruce throw. Kalolo tripped by Bacchus. Free kick. Keep their focus here, Macarthur. Benny and Kalolo told to move the ball back behind a little splodge of foam. Now the Frenchman's ready, gives the signal. Through at the near post. Goes towards the back instead, and Curto with a comfortable claim. Watch from Ali Reza Fagani, and that will do. Terrific first half in terms of entertainment. I'm not sure Dwight York will think so. He's got a bit of work to do at the break. They've had their opportunities, but a horrible error by Tomislav Uskok presented Marco Tullio with the opening goal, and then the same defender with an unfortunate touch which provided Jason Cummings with the chance to make it two. The Mariners might have had a couple more, in all honesty. Really good game to watch this, but at the break it's Macarthur 0, Central Coast Mariners 2. All set to go for the second half, and as you can see, Macarthur have made that change. We wondered if they would do. It's Daniel Arzani who is replacing Al Hassan Toure for the second half to give what Dwight York will hope his side a little bit more attacking thrust, although it's been in other areas of the pitch that they've had problems. Marco Tullio opened the scoring. Jason Cummings added a second, and there might have been one or two more. So let's see if there's a response from the Bulls as the Mariners get the ball rolling again for the second half. Macarthur have been kept scoreless only once on their own deck this season. That was by Melbourne Victory. But a word of warning for them, Andy Harper. The Central Coast have scored 18 second-half goals so far this season. That's more than any other club in the comp.
Yeah, they're in great nick, the Central Coast Mariners. They're really in great nick. And in this game, looking pretty good. Might have even been better. But it's a new half. And from Macarthur's viewpoint, you'd have to think a new game. Very, very manageable deficit if they want to roll their sleeves up.
Here's Benny and Kalolo in front of those Mariners supporters. Try and trick his way past Vujica. He'll get a corner first in the second period. If they do win tonight, the Mariners, they will close the gap on Melbourne City to just 3 points, albeit having played 2 games more. Taken short by Tullio, involving Nisbet. Bully to bring it clear, but can't pick out Drew. Holman backed into a bit of a corner here. Nicely out of it. It's well played. Arzani Cummings chasing back. Maybe an under-remarked part of his game, Jason Cummings. He's not shy to do a bit of defending when the need requires, and his release is a really good one too for Roux here. And Tullio waiting in the middle, but Curto there first. And Miller over the top of Farrell. For the ever-willing Jed Drew, who gets a corner off the fullback.
Not an overly convincing engagement by Drew of Jacob Farrell, but he wins the corner. A little bit of open field for Macarthur to hit on that transition, and Matt Miller gets the ball forward quickly. Drew with a good opportunity to deliver the ball into the danger area. Couldn't quite find the finesse.
Drew's corner, and it found Arzani at that near post and forced in by Matt Miller against one of his former clubs, and the Bulls are back in the game and still over half an hour to go. Well, this time it was the Mariners who clocked off from the set piece, and the Bulls have profited.
Well, Matt Miller just too strong on the Harvey Norman replay. Fitting it was his ball forward which launched the attack for Drew. Drew's corner to Arzani. Not quite sure if that's what Daniel had in mind necessarily, but it's worked a treat. Beautiful for Macarthur to get this little comeback consolidated. A strong second half, or start to the second half, and they've got their reward.
Holman. Arzani foraging for it. Drops here for Jake Holman. Gonna have a go here. And Vukovic had to help it on its way. And the Bulls are coming.
Well, deserves a goal on his recent form, I think, Jake Holman. He ferrets this one out, gets away from Josh Nisbet, which is not an easy thing to do. Vukovic tested, but passes that test.
Miller and Tullio being tightly watched by the official. Arzani again getting busy, and he's trying to thread the needle. He goes down inside the box. And the referee says goal kick. And Marco Tullio has been shown a yellow card for something said to the Iranian-born official.
Well, he's suggesting that Arzani dived. Most of the Mariners agreed. Tullio said probably more on the topic that he should have. Beautiful little change of direction. Great turn of speed. And I think he's clearly playing for the penalty there.
He's looking to break clear of this stranglehold that the Bulls have got on them at the moment. Their lead is a precarious one. Bacchus, it'll break here for Miller. He used the body well to shield it away from Silvera. Still feeling the after effects, Sammy Silvera. Tullio's gone down now. No whistle, here's Davila. Tried to go on his own, it's Jed Drew! What a save from Vukovic. Top draw stop. The outstretched left leg making the stop from Jed Drew and preserving the Mariners' lead.
Well, referee waving play on, no fouls called. That's bounced off Kaltak, and Jed Drew anticipates well on this occasion, but not better than Danny Vukovic.
Nisbet. And Kololo. Cleverly done by the Frenchman. Farrell then runs into Bacchus. Miller. Bulls throw. Bacchus. Davila. Beautiful vision. Lovely control too. Arzani trying to weave his way through. And he did his absolute best there, Daniel Arzani, but just latterly didn't have full control of the ball, and now he's picked up a whack to the head for his troubles.
No, but again, it was a great burst. It's like, okay, I've got them backpedaling. I haven't really got the numbers on my side, but what can I do to try and affect change positively for our game? And I admire the effort.
It's a real arm wrestle. On we go. Ball stayed in play. Arzani can have a dig here. Why not?
He's been terrific since he's come on. And he's really taken the responsibility upon himself. The team's fought hard across the field to get back into the contest. But he's taken the responsibility when it's come his way to make something happen.
Mariners continue. Tidied up by Aspropotamitis. Bujitsa. Touched by Carter. Azani. Very strong challenge by Triantis. And away races Michael Roos, this to win it. And Aspropotamitis was at his back. They want a penalty, the Mariners. Ali Reza Fagani again says no. Your thoughts, Hubs?
Oh, I thought it was a penalty first up. They might get their chance here.
The two tired teams. The Bulls have got no defenders here. It's Paul Ayongo. Can they seal the deal? Oh, and Uskok all the way through the back of Ayongo, and that's not a penalty either.
A crazy finish to the game. There's a bullocking challenge on halfway from Nectar Triantis to make the first chance. For Roos, that's praising his back here for sure, isn't he? Maybe shoulder to shoulder.
Maybe shoulder to shoulder. Let's have a look at this one. Well, there's a bit of contact. Maybe the ball's gone. You've seen him give it.
Well,
and not.
Yeah, happy for it to go on.
The Bulls desperate to get the ball back. Nisbet, Tullio. Behind it goes. Corner. That might just do it for the Central Coast.
Even less of a rush to start this one. We'll restart the game from here. Clear second place. Just seconds away from the Central Coast Mariners.
No surprise that they try and play a bit of keep ball. It's going to read 3 home wins and 3 losses for the Bulls. They were much improved in the second half, and the Mariners really had to work for their win. But in the end, they get the points. The Bulls paying the price for that very slow start to the game. The Mariners were excellent first 45. Marco Tullio set them on their way. Jason Cummings added a second. Matt Miller got one back for Dwight York's team in the second half, and they puffed and puffed, but couldn't quite blow the Mariners' house down. Full time, Macarthur 1, Central Coast Mariners 2.